Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Ken Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna take this IHC snap together water tower and turn it into this. Simply by using some inexpensive rattle can paint and some weathering chalks. I'm gonna show you how to do that in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, now this kit is actually sealed, factory sealed. It's a snap together, as you see, water tower. Have no idea what this thing looks like, but we're gonna go ahead. It says for ages 8 years and up, so I should be okay with this. We're gonna go ahead and open it up. And see what's inside. I have no idea. The box is a little crunched on this one end. I have no idea what's inside, but I can only imagine. Hey, well, unlike my previous kit, this one actually has some instructions, so that's a bonus. Let's see what else is inside. Well, we've got molded color tank, not too bad. We've got our brown base, not too bad. Got another one of these delightful plastic bottom doohickey jiggies that I guess everything is going to attach to. This is our roof material. Boy, that's almost kind of scary looking, but I think this has got some potential. Now this is obviously molded. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, it's all no flexible chain, no nothing. But let's just see what we can do with a cheap plastic kit that I found on eBay at such a respectable price. I just had to jump on it. You know, looking at the color of this isn't really awfully horrible. I might give this kind of a yellow wash. I haven't really kind of decided yet. I don't want to make it look like it wasn't painted, and I think I'm just going to give this kind of a yellow wash. And I've been thinking about the roof. This is it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because I think this looks a little bit too modern. So what I might do is I might try to do a sandpaper roof, try to even maybe make it look like shingles. Haven't quite decided just what I'm going to do there just yet. Obviously it's got some indications that it was patched and stuff like that, and I don't know, I might keep that roof the way it is and see if there's just something I can do with it. I haven't really 100% decided yet. Again, I'm all about trying to make it look good, but trying to do it in a way that even a beginner modeler can give a good swing at this and feel confident that they've produced a nice quality model when they're done. All right, so looking at the instructions here, boy, this is pretty important. It says, do not break parts from their sprues. Always cut them apart. Otherwise, you will have a rough and discolored spot where the break-off occurs. Well, I think that's kind of common sense, but hey, they got to put it here. Probably should have put some safety things like do not try to eat, do not try to digest. But I digress. All right, so then I go to the other side and pretty much just an exploded view. Gosh, I feel like I'm putting together some furniture that came from, you know, one of them big blue stores. I better not mention their name. Anywho, yeah. Well, we're going to have fun doing this because model railroading is supposed to be fun. So let's get at it. All right, I've got everything painted now. I'm going to go ahead and do this with a, actually used some gray primer for this color scheme and some Rust-Oleum brown for that, and some flat black for that. Now this kit said it snapped together, but honestly, when I snapped the tank together, it really didn't form a perfect circle. It was actually kind of oblonged. The tank is supposed to snap into here. If you look closely, you can see the one hole that it's supposed to snap in, but honestly, I'm going to go ahead and glue everything in because I really don't trust the snap together portion. But overall, I have an idea as to why I did this in gray and brown, and I'll share with that a little bit later on in the video. I didn't want to do the typical yellow or green water tower. Also, the box shows the cover. You look at that, you see the white over there. That actually looks like there was no decal in this. When I opened up the box, you saw that in the video. It looks like this is supposed to be painted. I'm not sure I'm going to go through all of that. I haven't quite figured out just yet what I'm going to do. Definitely I'm going to do something. I decided the roof, by the way, you can see the detail there, actually came out pretty nice. I like it, so I'm going to roll with that. I'm not going to do any additional shingles, but where the roof patches are and the roof hatch, I'm going to go ahead and just give that a little bit of maybe some weathering and maybe a little bit of rust around there as well. But overall, I kind of like how the roof came out, so I'm going to leave well enough alone. Now, if you want to accurately model something, you know how important photos are to accurately represent what it is that you're modeling. Now, if you're looking at these photos back here, that's just part of a 35,000 photo collection that I have spent decades putting together. They're all prototype photos. And I want to make a special offer just for you. You won't find anywhere else. Click on the link in the description here and check it out. It's just for you, just for watching this video. So there's a few things that I want to kind of point out in the instructions here. When it comes to this assembly, right here, you see these little tabs that stick out on either end of the piece. And actually, the paper shows it pretty well, so that's why I wanted to show it to you on paper. While this kit says that it's snapped together, I highly recommend that you do not glue those together. They fit in there very snug. The tabs are really, really small. And if you're not careful, in fact, actually, there's one right there. If you're not careful, you will break that off just trying to get it together, and then you're trying to do a butt joint. So my suggestion is to just gently push them in. If you're like me, I mean, I'm human and I'll be the first one to admit it. I usually, when I go to assemble something like this, I invariably end up making a mistake. I could look at the instructions 100 times, but then I don't notice little itty bitty things like, for example, this is an injection molding, and so there's one of the holes, and it's hard to see, but there's one of the little spots. And if you're not careful, this piece can easily be facing on the outside, and you see it. And it's just one more thing that you've got to try to work on hiding because it's so visible on the outside. Where if it's on the inside, it's not near as visible. The other thing too is by making sure that you don't glue any of these in here together, you definitely have some wiggle room to make sure that everything fits exactly as it should, and more importantly, everything is facing in the exact same direction that it should. All of these pieces have a top and a bottom. And of course, the instructions don't really point that out. They show it in the picture, but if you're not really paying attention, it's really easy to get things turned around. And so my suggestion is don't glue any of it together. I also used, again, it says it's a snap together fit. I did glue the base to the tank, and I glued the roof to the tank. So even though it kind of snapped in, to me, these are pieces that really aren't negotiable. Go ahead, dry fit it, make sure everything fits fine, but then I would recommend that you go ahead and glue the top and glue the bottom. Now, I'm using the base strictly as a jig. I'm not going to use the base in the final planning of the model. Even though it's super thin, and who knows, I might change my mind and end up using it. I'm not gluing it down. Now, I did use it as a jig to make sure that this was square, okay? And I made sure that I'm going to use it to keep everything else square on the final assembly. But chances are I'm just going to plop it in the base and let it sit, and that'll be protected while it sits on a shelf, and I'm working on something else. I decided I'd take some of my weathering chalk and just lightly brush on some multi-shades of rust. And something that I will tell you about chalks, if you don't know, and this will save you a lot of grief and a lot of aggravation. When it comes time to use a fixative to secure this, sometimes it takes a couple of different layers. But I will tell you that you can always go dark over a light color. So what I mean by that is a darker chalk over a lighter paint. And it will show. But if you are trying to do a light color over a dark paint, and you're trying to spray a fixative, a clear coat, a dull coat over it afterwards, it almost invariably vanishes, and that's just the characteristics of chalk. So just remember that if you're going to use chalk, always remember it's dark over a light color, not the other way around. So dark over light paint, and that'll save you a lot of grief and a lot of aggravation. After some various stages of chalk and flashes of dull coat, I finally have a roof that I like, as well as a tank that I like. This looks pretty good. I think the weathering came out pretty nice. It kind of, like I said, these tabs here are where the ladder goes, and the more I look at this, I almost kind of wish I would have just cut them off. And I might do that later. But it is what it is at this juncture. I like how I was able to pull out that detail just with a little bit of light dusting of some chalk, and just fixing it with a little bit of dull coat. And so we're going to do some acrylic washes for the base, and then assemble it, and we should be done. All right, so we have our finished model. Now, I only use the base kind of as a assembly jig, if you will, just to kind of put everything together. There's a few things that I definitely glued, and I would strongly encourage you to glue. You can glue the whole model if you want. It does claim to be snapped together. However, I'm not sure that I 100% embrace that. The tank will snap together. The roof will kind of snap onto the tank. the base will kind of snap onto the tank. The base itself definitely does snap together, so that's not a problem there. And the water spout will definitely attach to the tank and attach down here at the base. But I glued the roof on to the tank, and I glued the base onto the tank. Everything else is just kind of snapped together, and that's what I would encourage you to do. You'll see the light washes when we get up close. I really like how it came out. I did not obviously glue this on. You can. I don't see how it would actually snap in, but you can. I chose not to. My thought process, quite honestly, is I want like maybe some weeds kind of growing up in between the ground and whatnot. So I kind of want to, when it comes time to actually plant this into the scenery, I want a few things kind of growing up in and around and whatnot. You're not going to be able to do that with a base. But for the time being, hey, I got to be honest with you, this is a great kit, and I would highly recommend you finding one if you can find one cheap enough, and practice your weathering skills. As I mentioned earlier, this is just cheap primer that I bought at Harbor Freight, and some good old plain Jane old Rust-Oleum here on the base, just to kind of give me a little bit better of a bite with the dust chalk and the washes I did there. I painted the top just cheap big box flat black paint, and all the other colors are created using some chalks. So had a little brain fart there, sorry about that. So we're gonna get in close now so you can take a good look at it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and zoom on in. We'll take a look at the roof first and work our way on down. I'm trying not to use any artificial light, so this is all just kind of natural light. And the dry brushing I should say, that I did on the base, you can really see just with natural light, there's just some different shades and different tones, and it really helps to bring out the detail there. It doesn't take an awful lot, as you can see. There's no big globs of paint. It's just really a tip of paint on the brush. Make sure that you just go up to down with your strokes, and everything will look very natural like you see right there. So what's the goal with this water tower? Well, that's easy. It's going to sit right next to this station. I just got done building this station, got a future video coming out on it. We painted it to match so that it's a matching set. It's going to look great on our future railroad. So you're going to want to check this video out. Have a wonderful day, and you all be blessed.